Pasir Gudang. Next, Cikgu Shirley Savariapan, the Technical Officer for Poetry Recitation Secondary from SMK Sultan Ibrahim, Kulai. Lastly, Cikgu Helmi Halim, the Technical Officer for Poetry Writing and Essay Writing from SK Sungai Bunyi, Pontian. Now, let's start with the debate competition. Over to you, Cikgu Fatin.
Thank you very much, Cikgu Fatin, for your presentation. Now, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to everyone here. Welcome to all the viewers. Thank you for watching us today. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop your comments, and I will try my best to attend to all your questions. And today, my name is Cikgu Hanif bin Nur Azhar from SK Tengku Mariam Batu Pahat Johor, and I am the technical officer for the storytelling competition. And if you have any questions related to storytelling competition, please feel free to write your questions, and I'll try my best to help you. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a storytelling competition. Dedicated to all the primary schools, okay? And these are the rules and guidelines as stated and given by Ministry of Education. And I'm sure you can download this concept paper in the Google site of the Johor English Co-Academic Activities, okay? And this is the introduction. Well, basically, I'm not really going to touch on everything, okay, because I'm sure you can read all these introduction objectives, and I'm here to actually stress on important things that you need to consider while training your students for the storytelling competition. Now, this competition is open to all Year 4 and Year 6 people from government-aided schools, and only one participant will represent his state or the school, okay? So for level 2, so in Johor, we have 2 levels for the storytelling competition. We have level 1 and level 2. So basically, we don't really have a dedicated concept paper for storytelling level 1 because it shares the same ideas and aspiration and concept in the storytelling level 2 concept paper. But a few things I would like to highlight regarding the storytelling is that for level 1, it is dedicated and open to Year 3 pupils only. Year 1 and Year 2 are not allowed to participate. Unless you are coming from the under-enrolled school, then it is okay to have Year 2 people, but not Year 1. Okay, but for level 2, it opens from Year 4 to Year 6 pupils, and only one participant from each school. So this competition is divided into 2 sections. Section 1 is prepared, and section 2 is impromptu. Okay, as you can see, this is only dedicated for level 2, the impromptu section, or section 2 is only dedicated to level 2 storytelling competition. Level 1 is limited to section 1 only. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, another thing that I would like to highlight in storytelling is that the stories presented can be authentic, adapted, or originally written. Okay. Yes, you can take an authentic, original story. For example, you can take Pinocchio, you can take Snow White, Cinderella, but you know, in the scoring sheet later I will show you, in the scoring sheet we are looking into stories that make us to think, you know, a story that can make us laugh, cry, or even make us think, oh, this is, you know, make us feel like, okay, what is going to happen next, you know, what's going to happen in the conflict section, what's going to be in the climax, what's going to be the resolution of the story. So I do encourage you not to take, you know, original story that they know that is famously written or famously known, because we can already predict what's the ending. So it's not really, you know, encouraged to take that kind of story. Okay, so stories presented must be thematically educational. Okay, props, backdrops, and sound effects are not allowed. Any use of these will allow for disqualification by the judges, because last year we received a number of videos use props, backdrops, and sound effects. For example, this girl, she was telling a story about a river lady. So she presented the story near the river. Okay, so you can hear the sounds of the birds, sound of the river and everything. And this actually complicated the judges, on how to choose the winners, because that might give advantage, because you are giving, yes, we do understand you want to inject the mood, you want to raise the mood, while the judges are listening to the story. Okay, but then again, for this year, we do not want that to happen. We do not want to confuse our judges. We do not want to complicate the judges. We want to have one standard set of rules that we're going to use, that any props, backdrops, and sound effects are totally not allowed, and we may disqualify you. Please take note on this, teacher. Okay, another thing that I would like to highlight for the storytelling is the time allocation given, which is only 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, 4 to 5 minutes. Please do consider this, because we will receive hundreds of videos, and if your video exceeds 5 minutes or less than 4 minutes, it's going to be a big trouble, and it can be disqualified, or your presentation might not be even in the top 3 or top 5. Okay, so please make sure abide to the time given. Okay, this is also same for level 1. Okay, now the performance should be recorded and saved in MP4, 3GP, AV, MOV, or WMV format. It's up to you. But the most important thing that I would like to highlight, this one might not be in the concept paper, but this is what we want. Because last year, teachers, we did receive actually, a storytelling video. There was this one girl, she put her camera really in front of her face, so we could only see her face, telling the story. And this actually disturbs, the marks given, because we're looking into everything, not just the facial expression. We're looking into the body language, the hand gestures, and everything. So if you record the video only by showing the face, we cannot see the body and everything. So that is why this year we decided, okay, to actually put this in the rule that you need to record the video in horizontal or landscape mode. Okay, horizontal or landscape, and a single plain color background. So it can be, yellow only, it can be black only, it can be green only, up to you. Okay, it can be red, it can be whatever color, but make sure it's in a single plain color background. And you must actually show 70% of the upper body. Okay, you should record the video in horizontal, single plain color background, and showing at least 70% of the upper body, so we can give your students better marks and better opportunities for you to win. Okay, the video must be sent to the organizer by the link. Okay, we have actually provided you the link for the Google site, Johor Co-Academic Activities. You may click, and I think later by the end of this webinar, our host will show you the website. Okay, in case if you do not see the website yet. Okay, single tick only. You can see here, single tick. I really want to highlight this, because last year we did receive videos of storytelling combining videos, copy pasting videos. What I mean is that it was cut in the middle and then they combine it with another video, still the same student, but you can see it's not in a continuous single take performance. Okay, for storytelling, it has to be a continuous single take performance. You cannot cut, maybe for the first paragraph of a story, the kid was very good performing, but maybe at the second paragraph, the kid was stammering, or, he had problem. Okay, so you ask them, okay, stop. And then you record again, and you just combine video from the paragraph 1, combine with the paragraph number 2, and you think it's okay. No, it's not okay. We can see the differences, the position and everything. So make sure it must be in continuous single take only. We do not want it to be a repetition or a combination of different videos. Okay, now students are allowed to wear costume. Yes, allowed to wear costume. But in storytelling competition, usually people do ask me, Mr. Hanif, is it okay, or is it okay to um, wear costumes, and you stick the props on the costume? Okay, you stick the props on the costume. No, you cannot do that. You cannot stick any props in the costume. A costume is an attire that you wear. It's not something that you take it off or use it to enhance the story. Yes, I do understand that it can be quite dramatic and it can be fun, but in these competition we do not want to use props. Okay, and costume is just a costume. Okay. Okay, that will be all for the recording session for section 1. So you may record your students, and I would definitely encourage you to use your external microphone. What I mean by external microphone is that you may use this wired mic, for example, the one that I'm wearing now. I'm sure you can listen to me very clear because I'm using this external mic. Okay, and then you can also have a wireless mic. It is okay to use any external mic to enhance the audio quality. It is okay to do that, but you cannot, of course, definitely you cannot edit the voice or something like that. Okay. Now, for this section 2, impromptu section, we will definitely call any participant, okay, for the impromptu sections. So you don't have to worry. You just have to submit the video and wait for the call from PPD. Okay, for the impromptu, as you can see, this is the rules. Okay, these are the rules. Okay, the chief judge will read aloud the phrase to the contestant. Okay, a phrase. Okay, it's a phrase. Some people ask me, is it going to be a picture or is it going to be a word only? Okay, no. For English storytelling, we will give you a phrase. Okay, the students will receive a phrase. For example, this morning when I woke up, something like that. It can be the beginning of the story or it can be an ending of the story. For example, that was the best moment of my life. For example, like that. So the students have to create the story within 30 seconds only. Yes, teachers, only 30 seconds are given to participants to actually think and create the story. And please remind your students that for section 2, it should not be a repetition or reproduction of the story presented in section 1 or in the recorded video. It has to be a different story. So my best tips for you is that please ask your students to read lots of stories and imagine a lot of stories, and definitely write their own stories. Give them any pictures, or you give them any phrase, ask them to write a story, ask them to tell a story to you. For right now, maybe you cannot meet your students, so you may ask them, you give them a phrase and then ask them to record and give it back to you, the story. Yeah, that will be one of the training. Okay. Yeah, it's only 2 to 3 minutes presentation for the impromptu section. Okay, as you can see, these are the infringement or penalties that can be given to the students. Okay. Okay, and yeah, students, okay, if last year we did also receive lots of videos of storytelling, kids reading stories. So yes, teacher, we can disqualify you because according to 3.6, a contestant will be disqualified if he or she reads or refers to notes or reading materials. So don't be surprised if your students do not get any certificate of participation, because you can actually assess your own students' videos. Okay. Okay. The decision of the judges is final. No appeal is allowed, and individual marks will not be disclosed. Okay. Before I proceed to the next competition, I would like to highlight on the adjudication guideline or the adjudication criteria. Okay. Now, what I really want you to focus for storytelling is language proficiency, because it carries lots of marks here. Okay, it carries the highest mark, language proficiency. Correct, clear, and accurate pronunciation, clear enunciation and intonation. Try to avoid any accents or slangs. Okay, if your students have any accents or slangs, try to avoid them. Try to avoid that, because Because what most important is actually the correct, clear, and accurate pronunciation, not the slangs or the accents. Okay, we want to listen to that clear enunciation and intonation. Okay, and fluency is also very important in the storytelling. And another part of storytelling that I would really want to highlight today is actually the voice modulation, because some people they might confuse between a storytelling and public speaking. Public speaking is just delivering facts, ideas, points, their thoughts and everything. But in storytelling, you must have voice modulation. Okay, you must use different voices to animate the characters. So, teachers, when you are writing or adapting any stories, please insert any dialogues. Please do insert dialogues. What I mean dialogues is different characters with different voices. Okay, if the character is an old man, you can actually train your students to actually what can I to actually animate the characters by using an old man's voice. Try to practice that because it's very important. It's a storytelling, so you have to animate the characters, bring out the characters the best, either from the face, the body gestures, but it includes also the voice modulation. This is very important because lots of students are confused between the voice of a narrator and the voice of the character. Okay, the voice of narrator, yes, you can use your normal voice. Okay, it's okay to use your normal voice for the narrator voice, but when it comes to the character, the students have to use different voices. They cannot use the same voice with the voice of the narrator. Okay, for the purpose of animating the characters and bring out the characters, and of course at the same time they must have correct and clear pronunciation. And this is what I was talking about the story. It must, as you can see in the scoring sheet here, the theme and storyline. Okay, it must be interesting and appealing, significance and impact of meaning, coherence and integrated value. Interesting and appealing. So if you are using the same old story like Snow White, Cinderella, I'm not trying to say it's a bad or it's not a good story for storytelling competition, but this is a competition. So when it comes to a competition, we are looking for something new. We are looking for something unique. We are looking for something interesting and more appealing. If you are using the same old stories that we can actually predict the ending and everything, so you might score less in this part, the theme and storyline. And the most important thing is to highlight the moral value of the story at the end of the presentation. It is very important to highlight the moral value because it's in the criteria integrated values. So you must actually ask your student or train them to deliver the moral value of the story, even though it's just a one line only. Okay, as long as you have the moral value, it's okay. You don't have to be, you don't. The kids do not have to really elaborate on that. Okay, just a single or two sentences will be enough to just highlight the moral value. Okay, and costumes, yeah, suitability and creativity. Okay, this is the adjudication form as you can see. Okay, the penalty, section 1 and section 2 and everything. Okay, so yeah, I'm talking here. Do I have any questions from the viewers? No. Okay, for right now, nope. So I think that would be all from me for the storytelling competition. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you again, Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Johor, for inviting me here. And thank you so much to all the technical officers and to all the teachers. Good luck and all the best for the storytelling competition and the rest of the other competitions. Sorry? Okay. Next, I'm sure you're all very interested with the next competition because it's a new competition, and of course, everyone is excited for this competition as well. So next, I would like to welcome Cikgu Zul Hilmi and Cikgu Hadi, the technical officers for sketch competition, to present their concept papers and the rules. Hello, guys.
Hello, Hanif. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay. So all the best, guys. Over to
Hi.
you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you very much.
Okay,
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hadi bin Muhammad Fuad. I am from SMK Pasir Gudang 2. I'm the PT for sketch competition secondary schools. And my friend here.
My name is Zul Helmi bin Salim. I am from SMSK Muzaffar Shah, Kota Tinggi, Johor, and I'm the PT for primary school.
All right. As mentioned by Encik Hanif just now, that this is a new competition, especially for the primary school teachers and students. However, this is quite familiar to those in secondary schools because previously, before the pandemic, we had drama competition. So now, since we cannot have it face to face, they change it into a sketch competition, which students will record videos. Ladies and gentlemen, what you can see now is the concept paper that we will present to you. Do not panic because even though it's written there primary schools, but actually the concept paper for both primary and secondary schools are just the same except for two subpoints that we will highlight later. So don't worry. You have the introduction and objectives that you can read on your own later.
But right now we're coming on to the competition rules. Okay. Now I think this is a very exciting activity, especially for primary school teachers, because we have never had drama in our lives except in school. But it's a competition. But previously we have action song, but now because of the pandemic they replaced it with a drama competition. So these are the rules for the competition. Because the first one is, as we can see from the screen, it's open to year 4 to year 6 only, and only for year 3 peoples are allowed to participate if they are from under enrolled school. Hadi, you want to add something?
Sorry, I chip in a bit. This is what I said that we have to highlight for secondary school. It is open to all students with a maximum of 3 students from Form 6 if you have. You can have Form 6 students to participate in this sketch competition. If you do not want to, it is okay. All right? For those who do not have Form 6 in their schools, don't worry about this. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Hadi. Okay, now actually those school can participate are from government aided school under the purview of the Ministry of Education, so you guys have no problem in that. And then for 3.2, each team comprises of maximum of 10 participants, including the technical crew, which is the stage manager if you have, technical coordinator, set and prop assistant or prompter, and they must be accompanied by 2 teachers in charge, preferably. So there's 10 participants and 2 teachers in charge. And then it is encouraged for majority of the team members to act and also speak. So basically right now they are playing like dual role, one as a performer and one as a backstage help. And then another important part is all team members must be from the same school. Okay, for example, you cannot add on pupils from other school to participate. No, there is a must and you will be disqualified immediately. So the most important part is the pupil should be from the same school. Okay, now we're moving on to 3.4, which is the duration. Okay, as you can see, because this is a primary school competition, so the time of performance is limited from 7 to 10 minutes. And Hadi, I know you have something to add.
This is just the same like how we did for drama competition back then. The performance is up to 12 to 15 minutes per performance.
Okay, thank you, Hadi. So that's the difference that we can see between the minutes. And then the team select is open but should not touch on sensitive issues, for instance, race, religion, stereotyping, politics, and extra. And then another thing is that participating teams, they are encouraged to come up with their own script. For example, if you have translated or if you translate script of established plays, it must be adapted and cited. Okay, so it is much more valuable if you were to create your own script, because you have the freedom to create your own story. So it'll be an extra factor when it comes to judging time. And then for 3.7, I think you know the format of submitting the script, a for 12 types Roman, yada yada, those kind of things. And then the most important part is it must be submit to the organizing committee 2 weeks before the proper competition itself. Okay, now moving on to the judging criteria, it is based on actually 4 parts, which is the creativity of the sketch, the language, the overall coordination and performance, and also the positive values or the message. So we can see it is the creativity of the sketch itself. So how are you teachers you going to project your sketch? How are you going to dramatize it? How are you going to make your students deliver the sketch into a very powerful or even a moving sketch? And the language itself used must be creative. What kind of language to use? Is it suitable for the primary school or secondary itself? And then the overall coordination and performance means how are the actors be able to project their emotions, how they deliver their lines. It's very, very important. And also positive values means like what kind of value you try to carry, to bring out, to let us as the viewer feel from your sketch itself. And then last one, teams which do not abide with the rules will be penalized. Okay, I think we move on to Mr. Hadi.
Mr. Helmi, I would like to come back to number 3.7. Okay, I know that we now have teachers from all over the states, from every district watching this. If you can see at number 3.7, it says script should be sent to the organizing committee 2 weeks before the competition. If you are in MUA or if you are somewhere else in the state, please do not submit your participation, your link to us yet, because your district will decide on how they are going to hold this competition at district level. Okay, we are only accepting the best 3 sketches from every district for us to judge for state level. All right. So now we are going to the guidelines 4.0. First of all, it is compulsory to use English language throughout the sketch performance. Nevertheless, limited use of certain local Malaysian registers is allowed. For example, nasi lemak, sarong, and some others. Use of vulgar words and gestures and gruesome scenes are strictly prohibited. Otherwise, you will be penalized. Scripts must not touch on sensitive issues, for instance, race, religion, politics, etc. 4.2, the theme. Themes reflecting positive messages and values should be predominant in the sketch. However, ladies and gentlemen, it is not necessary for you to outline your moral values very explicitly in a dialogue, because the judges are all professionals and they can understand whether you have moral values in your sketch or not. 4.3, for costumes, participants should wear appropriate costumes in line with the characters they portray creatively. 4.4, set and props. I would like to highlight on this part. The use of sets and props should be minimized. Why so? Because later in the adjudication form, you only have a maximum of 5 marks for props. That judges will not be amazed by your amazing props. How much you invest for your props, that will not be considered in the marking. Just 5 marks. Sets and props should not hinder the movement of the team members. Use of sharp objects, for instance, knives, keris, etc. Fire, inflammable and dangerous chemical substances is strictly prohibited. This will cause either penalty or disqualification. So be careful that your students do not use all of them. Safety of sets and props should be ensured at all times. Virtual props computer generated images or CGI are not allowed, sadly, and this is coming back to our introduction that it says this competition is to make you become creative. So please be creative. Use some other things other than CGI.
Old
Alright.
school then, I guess.
Yeah, correct. 4.5, for music, each team should have technical assistance from the team members to coordinate music and recordings, which means music is allowed, but I think this is in line with the props. You can use music, but use it appropriately. Okay. 4.6, demeanor. Participants should not portray indecent actions or excessive movements that are provocative. So this will lead to being penalized or maybe disqualification. The presentation should take into account the comfort and safety of the audience and actors. Now, you see the word audience as if we are staging the drama in a real hall. So you do not have the audience actually for sketch. However, please make sure that the presentation should take into account the comfort of the viewers lah. Okay, those who are going to watch your videos, the judges especially. The duration of time. Again, this is the difference between sekolah menengah and sekolah rendah. Time allocated for each presentation for sekolah rendah is between 7 to 10 minutes, and for secondary schools, 12 to 15 minutes. The timing of the presentation starts with the first movement or the first word uttered. Either one, we will start counting the time. Marks will be deducted thereafter.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hadi. We'll move on to the adjudication part. I think most of the teachers are excited about this part because they want to get the extra marks there. Okay, so there will be at least 5 judges at the state and national levels, as you all know, and they'll be appointed all by the Sport and Curricular and Arts Division from the Ministry of Education. So there will not be any animosity towards the result. Okay, and then the penalty, if 5 marks will be deducted if teachers, it touch on sensitive issue, performance is below or above the stipulated times, means primary 7 to 10 and then secondary 12 to 15 minutes, and also stipulated exclusion under competition guidelines are infringed, means there's a problem in terms of your script writing or it was not being cited properly, and then the use of vulgar words and gestures as well as gruesome scenes are presented. So make sure your sketch is very following all the guidelines. And then points will be awarded according to the score sheets, and the majority of the votes will be the teams with the majority of the votes will be declared the winner. Individual marks will not be disclosed. The decision is final, and leaflets are not to be distributed to the judges. This is referring to the last time where we have audience, but nowadays because it's online, so this rule does not apply. But still, there's no leaflets allowed. And let's move on to the technical side, which is the recording and the submission. Okay, so I think I'll pass to Mr. Hadi according with this part.
All right, thank you, Mr. Helmi. But before that, we have a few questions here. The first one is from Mr. Hanif Azhar from Papua.
Hi.
Do we have any suggestions for the sketch topic? Okay, Mr. Hanif Azhar, if we can go back to the concept paper talking on the themes.
Yeah, I agree. The 3.5 there. 3.5. Under the competition rules, 3.5, the selection of team is open but should not touch on sensitive issues, for instance, race, religion, stereotyping, politics, etc.
Yeah, so our suggestion here, Mr. Hanif, is that anything under the sun, except those mentioned that you cannot, you can use as a topic lah. For example, don't eat a lot. For example, do not sleep too much every night. You can find your own topic. All right.
Yeah.
So now, we also have from Puan Suhaila. No. Miss Suel Ibrahim. If anybody asks how to submit the participation, like we mentioned before, you do not submit your participation to us because the districts will hold the competitions at their levels. Then only they will send to us the best 3 videos for us to judge at state level. All right, I hope we have answered the question so far. Now we go to number 4.9, and this is, I guess, I believe it is the most important part. Since we have props, we have crews who will work on the audio and all, how are you going to stage it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we need to follow the SOP in prevention of COVID-19, we can never have this sketch production face-to-face. So number 4.9.1, the actors must be recorded separately and merged for the final video. Okay, so obviously you need an editor in your team. So yeah, all acts must be done separately. So if let's say you have 10 cast and crews, which are all active cast, coming from 10 different homes, which means you have to record that in 10 different places. Okay, the submitted recording must be in landscape form. If you submit to us in a portrait form, then it is a total disqualification. Usage of DSLR or video cameras to shoot the video is encouraged to make sure that the quality is of high. Videos shot must be at least of HD quality at 1080 x 780 resolution. No subtitles should be added to the video by any means. Please, another disqualification. Once we see you have a subtitle, we won't be watching at all.
Wow.
Videos, I'm very sorry. I don't mean any harm, but yeah.
That's the rules, right?
Yeah. So just be careful. That's my intention. I just want you to be very careful that you do not have all these that we do not want to see. Otherwise, it is a waste for your kids, especially. 4.9.5. Videos should be uploaded on YouTube and set as unlisted. Link to the video will be submitted to the organizer via suitable means. For example, at state level, we are accepting the links of YouTube videos, I mean the winners, from every district via Google Form. So it depends on how your PT or your organizing team in your district, how they want to collect your participation. It's up to them. Video submitted will not be returned to the owner, and the organizer reserves the right to publish the winning videos of this competition. I know that you have the copyright since you upload the video on your own YouTube channel. That's fine, but we want to clarify here that we also have the right for us to share the link just to announce the winners at state level. Okay, back to you. Tell me.
Okay, this is the last part for the prizes. As we all know, we will be selecting prizes will be awarded for the champion, second prize winner, third prize winner, 2 consolation prize winner, and also there's a bonus for the best performer. Each of the participants will receive plaques and certificates of achievements for the winning teams, and certificate of participation will be awarded to all participating teams. So teachers, seize the opportunity, especially for primary teachers. Send in your video, send in your sketch, whatever it is. I know it's a bit challenging because of the pandemic, but this is a once in a lifetime experience, especially for your kids to be able to dabble in creating sketch and participate in the competition. So I think that's about it from me. And what about you, Mr. Hadi? Is there anything else?
I just want to wish the very best of luck for every participating team. I know I even had a few messages on WhatsApp, especially, and they are from students. Yeah, they asked me about this competition. They are very eager. So teachers, please support, please supervise your kids that they abide by all these rules and regulations. Hopefully, maybe your team might be the winner that we are looking for. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck everybody. I think we'll be moving. I think we'll move on to our moderator. Is it next up? We have to move to Mr.
Miss Shamira. Madam Shamira.
Oh, Madam Shamira. Hi, good luck.
Hello, thank you very much Cikgu Zohilmi and Cikgu Hadi Fuad. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I'm sharing you the concept paper of public speaking competition for primary and secondary school. Okay, again, good afternoon everyone. I'm Cikgu Shamira, the Technical Officer of Secondary Public Speaking Competition. And actually together with me, behind the camera, we have Cikgu Zikri as the Technical Officer of Public Speaking for Primary. So teachers, if let's say you have any inquiries or issues that you need further clarifications, you can actually write in the comment box and Cikgu Zikri or myself will attend to your questions later on. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, we are looking at public speaking competition for primary and secondary school. I'm sure everyone is pretty much familiar with how public speaking competitions are conducted and organized. So I believe I don't have to go through the concept paper one by one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to only mention or highlight some significant points that we may have overlooked while either preparing our students or organizing the event itself. Yeah. So, and teachers, I will also point out some information or guidelines that are not mentioned in the concept paper, but discussed at national level, because we want to make sure that the competition organized at our state level is aligned with the one in national level. Okay, so just bear with me for a few minutes. Okay, now let's look at the concept paper. So as you know, the competition is divided into two categories. So I don't have to mention that. It's primary and secondary school, and there are two sections which are prepared speech. Okay, it can be of any topic, and impromptu speech. Okay, and for impromptu speech, the topic is prepared by the organizer.
Shamira, sorry. You kena bila you share screen, you kena buka you punya PDF.
I dah buka ni.
You share full screen kan?
I share. Oh shit. Tu tadi I macam. Okay. Macam mana I nak kena buat?
Matikan balik
sekarang ni you tak nampak screen I
tak nampak PDF tu.
Okay.
Buka PDF sekarang.
Okay, I buka PDF. Alah, I macam berpeluh. I nervous. Okay, lepas tu?
Tak nampak lagi.
Yep.
Okay, kejap. I will stop sharing and then I will share
window.
again. So I will share screen and then
Choose window.
Ada window.
Okay, window.
PDF.
So okay, share.
Okay.
So boleh nampak I punya. Ya Allah, banyaknya. Okay, boleh nampak? Now.
No. You macam share your whole screen.
What should I do then?
Tak apa, babe. You present je.
Present.
Okay. Okay, now, so for primary school contestants, okay, time allocation is 4 to 6 minutes. And then for secondary school is 6 to 8 minutes. However, you need to bear in mind if, let's say, the contestants exceed the time allocated to them, you don't heavily penalize them, all right? So it is just, like you can give them some you don't heavily penalize lah, so you don't deduct like 10 marks or what. Okay, and if you look at this, I would like to bring your attention to the one in red. So it says here they have to wear school uniform without school logo. Okay, I'm aware that most of the students, they have their logo or badge stitched on their shirts, yeah? So my suggestion is, if let's say they already have the logo and badge on their shirts, what they can do is they can wear a vest or blazer on top of their shirts to cover the badge or the logo. Okay, so the next one is no editing, and it has to be in a single take. Okay, so this one, I am sure you know about this. That means they should not edit their video, and they do not need to put any subtitle or whatnot on their video on their video. So they should not edit their video. And it has to be on single plain color background. This is also important. All right, that means if, let's say, the students are using a wall as their background, so just make sure it is in a single color. Okay, and the next point is record in a vertical layout and show at least 70% of the upper body. All right, so make sure when you are preparing your kids for the competition, make sure they adhere by all these rules, yeah? Okay, now let's move on to the impromptu speech. Okay, so let's look at 5.3.3. Contestants are given a topic 4 minutes before they are due to present the speech. All contestants speak on the same topic, and the time allocated for the impromptu speech is 3 minutes. So some of you may ask whether or not you have to conduct or you have to execute the impromptu section at district level. There's no right or a wrong answer. It's up to you. If you feel like you just want to settle with a prepared video that they have prepared, then you can just choose the winner based on the prepared videos. If you feel like you need to do impromptu, just to be sure of your decision, by all means, you can conduct the impromptu section at your district level. Okay, now let's move on to the adjudication criteria. Okay, now I would like to bring your attention to the scoring sheet. Yeah, if you look at this, the kids will be assessed based on 2 sections. One is prepared speech and another one is impromptu speech. If you look at this, there are 2 criteria that the students will be assessed on. One is subject matter and another one is use of language. And if you see the weightage for both sections, they are all the same, 50 marks and 50 marks. But my honest opinion is that what distinguishes one speaker to the other is always the impromptu speech. Because why? Because when you talk about a good public speaker, this person always do well in impromptu speech. Okay, while the rest of the ordinary ones will do well in prepared speech, but just so for impromptu speech. Okay, now let's talk about subject matter for prepared speech. Okay, you may ask me, okay, what is it that we are looking at when we talk about subject matter in prepared speech section? Okay, when we talk about subject matter, we are actually talking about the choice of topic. Okay, so because these contestants, they can choose any topic under the sun. So it basically involves creativity as well. What makes a good topic? Okay, a good topic is actually a topic that leaves an impression to your audience. Okay, so my advice is do not be too cliche when you choose the topic. Okay, some contestants, we have the habit of Googling everything nowadays, right? So some of them, the easiest way of, producing a script, probably just Google anything on the internet. Probably they will just Google benefits of reading, benefit of exercising. So my question is, teachers, do you think these contestants will stand out of the many competitors? So definitely no, right? So choose a topic that gives impact to your audience. So always tell your kids, always check your kids' speech, and always ask yourself whether or not when you listen to the script, you reflect on something and it makes you think of something and it gives an impression to you. Okay, so regarding the impromptu section, when we talk about subject matter, it's actually my advice is you can always ask your kids to think out of the box, and then always ask them to see things from a different perspective. They need to be different. Like I said, they need to stand out from other contestants. Okay, let me give you some example. Okay, for example, the topic given for an impromptu section is green. Yeah, a single word, green. So I could guarantee you a lot of contestants will talk about nature if they see the word green, right? So if let's say one contestant managed to bring another perspective to the topic, of course this one contestant will be remembered for the different flavor this person puts in the discussion. So maybe and this contestant will be given extra merit. So definitely this contestant will win the competition. So that is what I mean by always think out of the box. Do not be too cliche when you address an issue. Okay, so be mature when you throw when the contestant throw ideas or thoughts and choose the topic. So I think I'm not going to touch on use of language because I know you know what it means. You know what this aspect covers. So I'm not going to touch on that. And another one that I would like to highlight is that a public speaking is not a storytelling. All right, like what Mr. Hanif had mentioned just now. Storytelling is not public speaking. It's the same. Public speaking is not storytelling. So you do not have to over dramatize your speech. Okay, that is storytelling. Okay, I'm sure primary teachers, you can relate to this. So you have to train your kids to know the difference between these two, storytelling and public speaking. Okay, my advice is at this at this moment, the best thing that you can do is to encourage your kids to explore or study some videos of good public speakers on YouTube. There are a lot of them. If you Google good public speakers, there are a lot of names, and you can encourage them to watch this video so that they can expose to the skill and techniques of public speaking. So that is one. And another one is, even though it is recorded, but definitely no reading. Okay, if let's say you feel like the students or the contestants are reading from a paper, please re-watch the video or re-evaluate the video so that you will choose the best contestant to represent your district. I think that is all. And lastly, all the best to all of you. May you find the best contestant to represent your district. So I shall hand over the floor to the next speaker. It's Cikgu Azwan, the PT for poetry recitation. Primary school. Cikgu Azwan, over to you.
Okay, hopefully you can see here. All right, so I'm Cikgu Azwan, as introduced by Cikgu Shamira just now. So I'll be your PT for poetry recitations for primary schools, but there will be another PT, Cikgu Shirley, will be in charge for the high school. All right, anyway, I think most of the teachers are aware about the poetry recitations, how it goes, but this is my part as a PT. I will highlight some of the key points that you should do and you shouldn't do when you are submitting your videos. All right, so let's talk about the eligibility for this competition. So this competition is open for year 4 to year 6 only, but year 6 pupils who registered under the school, government school, you may enroll also in this competition. And of course, one pupil can only represent his or her school in this competition, right? No, not more than one. Right, let's talk about the time. For each participant, you are being given only to 4 to 6 minutes. So, of course, if you are not abiding by this time limit, you could be penalized by the judges. All right, let's talk about the text now. All right, certainly your text should be authentic and original. There shouldn't be, your text should not involve any lines that have been published or won any prize in other competition, all right? And the themes for this year would be If I May. So I repeat, this is only a theme. So you have the right to give your own title, but of course it must revolve to the themes given. All right, now let's talk about the text some more. So your text should not touch of the sensitive issues such as race, religion, stereotyping, and politics. So to make you understand better, this is some an exercise for you. I will give you 2 lines like this one. If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor. And the other one would be, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So I give you 2 lines for this part only. So are you familiar with these verses? Yeah, so these are actually, I took these from Quran and also Bible. So I would suggest you not to be smart enough to copy all these into your poem, because I think for an experienced judges, if you're not lucky enough, they might identify these kind of errors. All right, and again, another one would be avoid using non-English word in your poem. For example, you use Arabic term and other non-English word into your poem. Try to avoid these. All right, and in terms of the technical part, your poetry should be written in A4 paper, Times New Roman, Arial, font size is 12. Okay, now, type of poem, I don't want to discuss further about this because I know all teachers could assist the children in producing the poem, because certainly in producing a good poem, you must apply all the literary devices. Again, I remind all teachers, especially for primary schools, most of the primary school students are not exposed much to the literary devices. So this is where the Guru Pembimbing will play your part in assisting them. So they can simply write when they're submitting when they're sharing the poems. You should give some comments. Perhaps you can change a bit of this part so that it can be following the literary devices. Okay. Now let's talk about the attire. When you are submitting your video or you're recording your poems, you should be wearing your school uniform, and try to like Cikgu Shamira mentioned just now, try to hide or cover your school badge so that it will be fair for the judges when we are judging you. Okay, now let's go for recitation. when you are recording your poem, try not to refer to any notes or printed materials, because this my advice to you for experienced judges. They will know that you are referring to any text in front of you, or you're memorizing your text. So I think please be careful with this. All right. And when you are presenting your poems, please do not include any commentary. So we don't want to see you presenting, oh, this poem is about. So we don't want to hear that. All right. And in the beginning of your poem, you must start mentioning the title and of course your name. And a gentle reminder for all of you: please do not include singing, music, props, or artificial sound effects. All right. And we don't want you to act out the poems. It's a recitation, so you just recite. So don't act out, because this is not allowed. And of course, the video that you're sending to us, it should be in this format: MP4, 3GP, AVI, and so on. Okay. And the layout for your poems, when you're recording your poems, it should be in a vertical layout, and you're supposedly show 70% of your upper body, as mentioned by other PTs just now. All right. Any decisions made by the judges should not be appealed by anyone, because it is and individual marks will not be disclosed. All right. Now let's talk about the score sheet, so that you can become clearer what we are judging in your submitted videos. So there are 6 criteria that we are looking at: physical presence, voice and articulations, dramatic appropriateness, level of complexity, evidence of understanding, and overall performance. All right. As you can see that out of these 6 criteria, the highest weightage that we are looking at is your voice and articulation. So it's mainly based on your delivery of the content. All right. Of course, the other part would be the added points to your performance. All right. So I hope that everyone is clear. If you have any questions, you may ask me in your chat. All right. Because I cannot see now. So let me hand over this stage to the next PT.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you to Cikgu Azwan. My name is Shirley, and I'm the Technical Officer for Poetry Recitation for Secondary Schools. Cikgu Azwan has actually explained quite a lot of things in detail. Here, I would like to just recall and to remind you of certain issues, especially when you recite the poems. Okay, so this poem, or rather poetry recitation, is actually meant for Form 1 to Form 3 students only. Okay, I'll repeat: Form 1 to Form 3 students only. And there are 2 parts of this poetry recitation. Part 1 is the prepared poem. For prepared poem, you are given not less than 5 minutes and not more than 7 minutes. Okay, let me repeat that: 5 to 7 minutes only. Okay, now for the performance, as usual, as mentioned by Cikgu Azwan earlier, it's only about to be recorded and saved in MP4, 3GP, AVI, MOV, or VMV format. Okay, so video will be sent to the organizer via the link address much later. Okay, that is for your prepared topic. Okay, now for the impromptu poem, this will be conducted through teleconferencing. Okay, so impromptu will be conducted through video teleconferencing between the contestant, the panel of judges, and the timekeeper. So each contestant will be given a theme. Okay, please remember that each contestant will be given a theme, and they will have quarantine time. And the quarantine time is about 10 minutes, all right? And time for their presentation is 2 to 3 minutes only. 2 to 3 minutes only. So a bell will be rung at the third minute to indicate the end of the presentation time. Okay, all right. Now we talk about the poem prepared by your pupils. The text must be authentic and original. Okay, please remember that the text must be authentic and original. And for this year, the theme given by National is If I May. Okay, I hope teachers just study through this theme, If I May, which may be in a form of negative, and it also can be in a form of positive. Okay, so this is something that teachers must really think about and guide your pupils on how to write the poem. Okay, now for 3 to 4 minutes, or rather if I look at the prepared topic, If I May, which they can start with the phrase If I May, they can end the line with If I May, they can use the word If I May in between each stanza. All right, that is their own creativity. Now, normally for 5 to 7 minutes, this is something that I would like to suggest. Guide your students to write at least about 20 to 22 stanzas, whereby each stanza is about 7 to 8 lines. If you have your rhyming, then it is about 8 lines for each stanza. Whereas for your impromptu topic, you can write about 12 stanzas. Each stanza is about 6 lines. So you can write about 12 stanzas. Maybe you can teach your pupils how to write the stanzas. Okay, and materials presented, of course, must not touch on sensitive issues such as race, religion, stereotyping, politics, and etc. All right. Now, this was also mentioned by Cikgu Azwan earlier, the type of poem, which includes all the literary devices. So if you have any questions on literary devices later, maybe you can just put it into the chat box, right? Okay, attire would be formal school uniform. Okay, attire will be in formal school uniform. All right. Now, when it comes to the recitation, participants, or rather contestants, are not allowed to refer to any printed notes. Okay, they can't just hold and read. Okay, by right, they should have memorized and then they recite. Okay, and must not present a commentary as mentioned by Cikgu Azwan earlier. And of course, the student, or rather the pupil, start the recitation by mentioning the title and the writer of the poem. If, for example, I write the poem, then it is written by Shirley. If it is written by my teacher, then you write written by my teacher, Cikgu Azwan. Okay, then there should be no inclusion of singing, music, props, or artificial sound effects, right? And of course, no performance, no theatrical performance in the poem given, right? Okay. Of course, decision, when it comes to decisions, the judge's decision is final, and please take note, no appeal is allowed. Okay. All right, let's go for the marking. For the score sheet or the adjudication. Right, so for poetry recitation, in order for you to train your pupils to present well, you look at the notes given right at the back of your concept paper. The tips are given how to score. For example, here you have physical presence. Okay, now physical presence, what do the judges want to see? They would like to see your eye contact, your body language, and the poise. All right. Now, when it comes to voice and articulation, if you see physical presence is only 10 marks. But when it comes to voice and articulation, okay, voice and articulation basically is your volume. You cannot present your poem, in a very soft manner. No point. So one is your volume. Two is the pace, not too fast. For prepared, you're given 5 to 7 minutes. For impromptu, you have 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so look out for the pace. All right, next is your rhythm. Rhythm, intonation, and proper pronunciation, they are very, very important because that's the highest mark, 30%, 30 marks. Okay, so make sure you teach your students how to pronounce the words clearly. Pronounce it. Proper intonation. You have that intonation that goes up and down. So you teach them that. All right. Next, you have dramatic appropriateness. This is about 20%, 20 marks given to you. All right. Now, as mentioned by Cikgu Azwan earlier, try not to act. We don't want drama here. We want the pupil to recite and present. So dramatic appropriateness. Then level of complexity. What do you mean by level of complexity? It means that the way you write your poem, how difficult is it to write the poem? The moment the judges listen to your poem, they know, oh, this is not easy to write. Okay, this is the level of complexity, the words that you use, the expressions that you use, that is based on that. Okay, next will be evidence of understanding. So evidence of understanding is whether do you appreciate the poem. Not that you're presenting and then there you scratch your head. All right, okay, so please look into that level, evidence of understanding. Then of course you have your overall performance. Now remember, you are standing at one particular position. Now this is not drama, so you do not move left and right. So one position that you stand, make sure you look into the camera and try your best to make sure that your eye contact is into the camera. So the moment you look left and right, then we know that you are reading from a script, prepared script. So that can be penalized or disqualified. So last year, we had many contestants being disqualified. All right, so something that you have to look into. Okay. Okay, I think that is all from me. If you have any questions, please do ask. And thank you for your cooperation. Thank you. Next, let me pass on the mic to Cikgu Muhammad Helmi.
All right. Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good day, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Here. Rambut serabut, no? All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Is this competition for our competition, and I'm going to talk about English language essay writing competition. So this is something new as well. We introduced this. This was introduced last year by MOE, and now let's move on and we look at. Tak perkenalkan diri pun. Never mind. Okay, let's look at the concept paper 3.0 eligibility. This competition is open to all primary and secondary school pupils from government aided schools, and this competition is divided into 4 categories. So these are the 4 categories. The first one is primary school from year 4 to year 6, lower secondary from Form 1 to Form 3, upper secondary from Form 4 to Form 5, and Form 6 pupils as well. But all these 4 categories will be given 2 themes. I will explain later. Now you look at the topics. The essay topics given is only for use at district and state level. So for the national level competition, the Ministry of Education will provide a new essay topic to the State Education Department and will be passed to the winner for the topics at national level. Now, let's look at the topics for primary from year 4 to year 6 and also lower secondary school for Form 1 to Form 3. So this is the topic, what makes a person beautiful? And another one is for upper secondary and Form 6, means Form 4, Form 5 and Form 6. And the topic given is courtesy costs nothing but buys everything. So only 2 topics are given for the categories. There are 4 categories, remember. And now let's look at the rules and guidelines 5.0. Participants are allowed to submit only 1 essay under 1 category. This means that you cannot submit different essay, many essays. You just have to write 1 and submit 1 for each contestant. All right. 5.2, essay must be submitted in PDF file and uploaded via a link provided by the organizer, means the PPD or JPN. And please remember to convert your essay from Word to PDF file before you upload it using the link given. 5.3, this one, essays must be pupils' own work, authentic and original. And plagiarized or translated works will be disqualified immediately. We do have issue with these rules last year, in which we have several submissions were actually translated directly from Google, and we have a very funny moment reading all those essays. And please, teachers, remind your pupils or check their work and make sure that it is grammatically correct and the accuracy and everything is given attention. Okay, 5.4, essays must not touch on sensitive issues of ethnic, race and religion of any kind, as being mentioned before by Cikgu Azwan. Okay, another thing that you have to be concerned of is the format of the essay writing. 5.5.1, essays must be given a title. That means you have to have a title. And any personal information should be specified in the entry form only and not in your essay. Please don't write your personal information, your name, the pupil's name or the school's name in your essay. Just write the title and make sure that you fill in all the personal information in the entry form only. All right, and then another one is essays must be typed with a font Times New Roman, size 12 with 1.5 spacing. And we do have issue with this one, these rules as well last year, in which there are many submissions that we received does not follow the format given by the ministry, and the essay does not really being judged accordingly because of this issue. So make sure that you remind your pupils to type the essay according to the format listed by the Ministry of Education. All right, okay, 5.5.3. Once you have completed writing the essay or typing the essay in Word or Microsoft Word, or you are using, if you're using Mac, you're using Pages, make sure that you convert the file to PDF before uploading the file using the link given. 5.5.4, I think this one, everyone is clear. Submit the essay through a link given by the State Education Department to be judged at district and state level. Okay, now let's look at the word limit for each category. For primary school, the word limit is 250 to 350 words. Lower secondary school, from 1 to form 3, 400 to 500 words. Upper secondary school, 750 to 1,000 words. And form 6, it should be between 1,000 to 1,300 words. Please do not exceed the word limit given, and do make sure that the pupils write accordingly. Writes according to the number of words listed here, according to their category. Each category has their own word counts and word limits. Please make sure that the pupils adhere to these rules, because this is very important. All right, 5.7. All essays upon submission cannot be corrected or edited. That means if you have submitted your essay via the link, and that's all. You cannot edit or correct the essays anymore. And please make sure that you check your pupils' submission thoroughly before uploading it to the link given. All right, okay, this one, I think everyone is clear on this. Now, the adjudication. Let's look at 6.2. Marks will be allocated according to the following criteria. There will only be 2 criteria: content 50 marks and language 50 marks. We will look into this in a while. I don't think we need to discuss the awards and prizes. All right, now let's look at the rubric or the scoring criteria, the score sheet. Okay, before that, we look at the remarks first. There are 4 here. The essay is assessed based on impression, whether the essay managed to make an impression or not. And the second one is the essay should be original. Here means make sure that the pupils write the essay themselves. They write from their heart. All right, okay. Next, number 3, the essay must not touch on sensitive issues, again, as discussed earlier. And number 4, if the essay does not meet the required number of words, the essay will be graded a band lower. That means if, let's say, the pupils are supposed to get A, and in band A, but due to these rules, they will be graded a band lower, means the marks will be deducted a bit. So from A, they might move to B. All right, okay. Now, let's look at the content and the language. This is the only criteria that the judges are looking at while marking the essay. The first one is content. Make sure that the content is unique, provides a new perspective and highly relevant to the theme. Here means based on the topics. Don't simply write and wander everywhere without really having a strong relation to the topics, okay? And another one is able to capture readers' attention and sustain interest throughout. And this one is very important as well, because whenever we read a book, although people always say that do not literally judge a book by its cover, but if your first introduction of your essay, the first line of the essay is very interesting, it managed to sustain your readers' interest, then it should be good. And make sure that the pupils are reminded when they write their essay. All right, okay, teachers. Next, language criteria. There will be 50 marks for language. The first one is exceptionally clear and logical organization of ideas. That means the judges can see the cohesiveness of the essay from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2. The connection. There is a logical connection and organization of ideas is relevant throughout the essay. And number 2, shows mastery of the language. Make sure that they write using appropriate grammar, the sentence structure and everything. Uses a variety of sentence structures. Here means make sure that the pupils use various and different sentence structures throughout the entire essay. Don't just use simple sentence throughout the essay. This shows lack of mastery of the language. All right, okay. Next, broad lexical repertoire. This means that the pupils are not really repeating or using repetition throughout the essay. So they have like various words used throughout the essay to convey the same meaning. For example, if they talk about a thing, they use the word they use the word important. For example, they use the word important and they repeat the word important throughout the essay several times. It does not really make a good impression. Use other words, for example, like crucial to replace important and things like that. And the last one, maintains a high degree of grammatical accuracy. And this is very important as well. Make sure that you check your pupils' work and help them, facilitate them to write correctly using correct grammatical structures and sentences. Okay, we just look at score for A, and I think the rest, there's nothing to be explained. I guess the teachers are very well versed with all of these. All right. So I think that would be all for essay writing competition. Now, do you have any questions or you want me to proceed with the next competition? I guess I just proceed with the next one. All right. Now, let's look at another competition, which is the online English language poetry writing competition. This is more or less the same with essay writing competition, but this is more on writing a poem. Okay, this is a concept paper. This is something new as well. It was introduced last year. All right, let's look at the guidelines and the rules. I don't think I need to explain the introduction and the objectives. Let's look at the eligibility again. Okay, 3.0. This competition is open to all primary and secondary school pupils from government-aided schools, and the competition is divided into 4 categories: primary school for year 4 to year 6, lower secondary school from Form 1 to Form 3, upper secondary school from Form 4 to Form 5, and finally we have Form 6 pupils. So there are 4 categories. And the theme for this year, 2021, is Rise When You Fall. So you have to make sure that the pupils, teachers, make sure that you guide the pupils to write according to this theme. And again, this theme is only for use at district and state levels. And for national level, if let's say your pupil win the competition and will represent our state, so the Ministry of Education will provide a new theme 2 weeks before judging again and at national level. Okay, let's look at the rules and guidelines. Participants are allowed to submit only 1 poem under 1 category, and I think just like I mentioned just now, 1 contestant is only allowed to submit 1 poem. I mean, there's only 1 submission for the category. Okay, 5.2, again, poems must be submitted in PDF file and uploaded via a link provided by the organizer. The JPN will provide the link at the Google site, and make sure that you remind the pupils to convert the file from Word to PDF before uploading the file to using the link provided, right? Okay, 5.3, again, pupils' poems must be pupils' own work, authentic and original, and must never have been published or have won a prize in any other competition prior to this one. So plagiarized or translated works will be disqualified immediately. And please make sure that you remind your pupils' teachers not to simply Google everything and take it and put it in your their poem. Simply Google and take things won't work for this competition. All right, okay. 5.4, poem must not touch on sensitive issues of ethnic, race, and religion of any kind. I think we have discussed this. Almost every competition states this rule. All right, now let's look at the format. The poetry writing format. The first one, poems must only be presented with a title. Any personal information should be specified in the entry form. Again, make sure that you have a title for the poem and do not provide your name, your school's name in the file that you write your essay on. All right. Okay, next, poems must be typed using Times New Roman font, size 12 with 1.5 spacing. And please adhere to this one. We don't want any issues regarding this. All right, okay, next, completed forms must be submitted in PDF file and given to the teacher in charge. And your teacher, the teacher, on behalf of the school, will submit the poems through a link given by the State Education Department, by JPN, to be judged at district and state level. Okay, for poetry writing competition, the line limit is based on categories as follows. It does not have word counts or stanzas, but we are focusing on the line limit. For primary school category, the line limit given is 12 to 16 lines only. So make sure that the pupils write within these numbers. For lower secondary, 12 to 20 lines. Upper secondary from 16 to 24 lines. And for Form 6, from 16 to 24 lines. Same one with Form 4 and Form 5 pupils. Okay, all poems upon submission cannot be corrected or edited. The same one with essay writing competition. Once you have submitted your essay via the link, that's it. That's all. And make sure that teachers in charge check your pupils' work thoroughly before deciding to upload it in the link given. All right, 5.8. I don't think we need to discuss this. All right, okay. Let's look at the adjudication. 6.2, marks will be allocated according to the following criteria. For content, 50 marks will be given, and for language, another 50 marks will be given, and the total will be 100. All right, we don't have to discuss the price and all these rules. Let's look at the rubric or the scoring criteria. We will only look at band A. Allah. All right. Okay. 50 marks for content and 50 marks for language use. Allah. Okay. For content, it should be authentic, deep, and unique. Means it's your own work, pupils' own work, and make sure that they write their own poem. Intelligent use of poetic devices to convey a significant message. And I think these poetic devices, such as all these stuffs related to poems, such as we have the onomatopoeia, the figurative language, similes, metaphor, we have alliteration, assonance, and all those things. Encourage people to use it. Although Mr. Azwan just now mentioned that not all pupils or students are exposed to these poetic devices, but encourage them to use it if they are able to do so. All right, poem powerfully and effectively reflects the poet's intended style. And this is, I think, most likely referred to the poet. Is either it's talking from first person point of view or third person point of view, and it really reflects his own or her own styles. Okay, next, mature and powerful treatment of the subject matter. This make sure that they really understand the subject matter of their poem to write something really meaningful and memorable. All right, as for language, there will be another 50 marks, and the poem will be assessed based on creative, unconventional, and impressive use of language. at their level, according to their level. And second one is pertinent and engaging use of words and phrases. Means they know how to use the words in their poems. And the last one, strategic use of punctuation to convey intended meaning effectively. And this one, make sure that the pupils know where to put a comma and where to perhaps enhance their poem by using exclamation marks and sort of other things like that. Okay, this is, again, it's another almost like the same criteria, but we only discussed the first one. Okay, let's look at the remarks. Again, there will be 3 remarks put here. Plagiarized writing will be disqualified immediately. And like, Google Works will not work. The same one with essay writing. And make sure that it's authentic. And rhyme is not a requirement. Yes, rhyme is one of the elements of a poem or poetry, but it's not a necessary it's not necessary or not requirement to be in the poem. You can use other elements as well. Okay, failure to adhere to the specific specified number of lines will be graded a band lower. Let's say the pupils did not manage to write according to the 5.6, they will be graded a band lower. Means if, let's say, the essay have the potential to be graded as A, but due to this, they will be graded a band lower. So it will be from A, will be graded a band lower, means B. All right, I think that would be all for poetry writing competition. All right, okay, do you have any questions? All right, I guess there's no questions. So I will pass the sesh back to our moderator, Cikgu Azhar or Mr. Hanif.
Thank you to all the speakers for sharing the insightful information today. That is all from us. We hope that this fruitful discussion has helped everyone to get a clear view of what is coming in the competition. If you still have any inquiries, you can contact our technical officers and we will try our best to assist you. Thank you to Unit Pembangunan Bakat Murid JPN Johor for organizing this webinar, and thank you again to all the technical officers for sharing their knowledge and experience. Lastly, thank you so much to our viewers for joining our webinar today. All the best and may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm Cikgu Azhar signing off. Thank you, everyone.